Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Tassos Kalimos. Happy to join you guys for another edition of NBA Player Prop Parlay right here on the Guy Boston Sports YouTube channel. Happy Friday, everybody. Hope your week has gone well so far. I hope you guys are ready for the weekend. It is almost here. And with a new Friday means a new NBA Player Prop Parlay and a new edition of Freaky Friday. If you guys don't know what Freaky Friday is, last Friday I announced that from now on Fridays we'll be big game hunting. Every Friday we'll be doing parlays of plus 800 odds or higher. The goal being, of course, to win a shit ton of units in one parlay. Last week we were very close. We got 4 out of the 5 legs hit in our 5-leg parlay. The one leg we had was Vucevic over 2.5 assists. He had 2. So our 5th leg that didn't hit, we missed by 1 assist. So we were on a pretty good track last week. Let's keep that positive momentum. Let's do it again this week. As always, guys, make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. We are on the road to 50,000 subscribers. We're a little more than 500 away. So we're trying to get that by Sunday. You're going to hit the subscribe button. If you're not part of the Guy Boston Sports community, please join us. We post videos daily, multiple videos daily. You will not regret it. Quick recap, because I know we got a long video ahead. We got 5-leg parlay to give you guys tonight. I don't want to waste too much time, but just to really quickly recap last night, 2 out of 3 legs hit. We just missed the mark on that Jaren Jackson Jr. prop. If you watched yesterday's video, I did say it was the sweatiest leg of the parlay. Was a little nervous about it, but I took the risk. Didn't pay out at the end. But the first 2 legs, they hit pretty easily. We are now 0-3 this week on parlays. It's unfortunate, but it is worth mentioning that in the parlay hunting game, you're not going to hit every day. You're going to have weeks. At the end of the day, if we hit one of these parlays in a week, you're at least broken even for the week. So keep that in mind. We are 0-3 on parlays, but we are 5-3 on our player props that I've given you guys this week. That's a 62% hit rate on player props that I've given out to you guys this week. So pretty good. It makes me a sharp better. If you sharp betting, you got to be over. I think it's like 58%. I'm 62% on the player props I've handed out so far this week. And on the season, I'm hitting 80% of the props that I give out to you guys. So with that in mind, let's not waste any more time. Let's dive right in today's 5-leg player prop parlay. All right, guys, starting off the first leg of our 5-leg parlay. I'm going to try and go a little quicker here so that we don't have a 20-minute video on our hands. First leg of our 5-leg parlay, we're targeting the San Antonio Spurs at Charlotte Hornets game, which kicks off at 7 p.m. Eastern time. We're going with LaMelo Ball of the Charlotte Hornets over 24.5 points. And now we kick this over to the Outliers screen here. Again, Outliers is the sponsor of every NBA Player Prop Parlay video. Link in the description below. 7-day free trial when you use our special link if you want access to any of the information, any of the data that I give you guys in today's video. So, LaMelo Ball over 24.5 points. You see he has covered this in 8 of his last 10 games this season. And if you look at the 2023 season as a whole, he's only played 18 games, but he has covered this line in 11 of those 18 games. That is a 61% hit rate on the season. And maybe most importantly, when you look at the head-to-head matchup here, each of the last 2 times that he has faced off with the San Antonio Spurs, including the one time that they played this season just last week, he had 28 points both times. So really good spot here with the matchup. Just going to move my screen to the right side there so you guys can get a clearer view of the data here. One of the cool features of Outliers is that you can put filters in to look at for specific scenarios. And so right now, Gordon Hayward obviously out tonight, so I put in what LaMelo Ball does this year without Gordon Hayward. He's played 4 times this season without Hayward. He's covered it in 3 of the 4 times without him. The one time he didn't, he had 21 points versus Miami. Tough defensive matchup. But the other 3 times he's played this season without Gordon Hayward, he has crushed this number, including that matchup versus San Antonio on January 12th. So a pretty good spot here for LaMelo Ball. He's also hit this in 67% of the home games this year, including 6 in a row. So 6 consecutive home games, he has hit this over, and he's scored at least 28 points. He scored 34 or more points in 5 of those games. He scored 28 against Miami in one of those games. So he's been covering this pretty consistently at home. And if you look at the right side of the screen, last point on this first prop, the San Antonio Spurs are a bottom 5 team defensively in the NBA right now, giving up 121 points per game to opposing teams. And when you look at the point guard position, they are bottom 3, giving up 26.8 points per game to opposing point guards. So LaMelo Ball, since he's returned from injury, he has been balling out. A really great defensive matchup here. I love this for the first leg of our 5-leg parlay, and you can get this on DraftKings and FanDuel at -160 odds. All right, guys, moving on to the second leg of our 5-leg parlay. We are targeting the Sixers Magic game, which kicks off at 7 p.m. Eastern time. We're going with Tobias Harris of the Philadelphia 76ers over 19.5 points plus assists. Tobias Harris has covered this number in 7 of his last 10 games for the Sixers, so pretty good data, 70% hit rate. And if you stretch that data out to the entire season, he's still hitting it pretty solidly. 55% hit rate, 21 out of 38 games. You'll see here, he was a lot more consistent early in the season. He had a little bit of a fall off there in the middle, but there in the last 10 games, you see he has really bounced back and started to recover. So pretty good spot here for us. And if you look at the head-to-head matchup, which is obviously most important, he's hit this in 4 of his last 5 games versus Orlando, including the one time they played this season. On December 27th, he hit 22 points, and 2 assists. So, pretty good spot. And actually, if you scroll down here, one of the other cool features of Outlier, they give you professional insights for each prop. And for this one, Tobias Harris has exceeded 19.5 points plus assists in 7 of his last 8 games against the Orlando Magic. 25 points plus assists per game when he's faced Orlando in 7 in their last 8 games. Really good spot here. He's been playing very well against Orlando, so a really good head-to-head matchup here for Tobias Harris. It's not necessarily the best defensive matchup. You look here versus small forwards, which he does play sometime at the 3. They are bottom half of the league in points allowed and about middle of the road in assists allowed. But you look versus the power forward, his true position, they are actually top 10 in points and assists allowed. So not a great defensive matchup, but again, he has covered it in 7 of his last 8 games versus Orlando. And the one time he didn't hit it was on January 30th of 2023. He missed it. He had 17 points and 1 assist, so he just barely missed it. So a really good spot here for our second leg. All right, guys, we are cruising along here on this Freaky Friday, third leg of our 5-leg parlay. We have Tyler Hero of the Miami Heat in the Hawks-Heat game, which kicks off at 8 p.m. Eastern time. We have Tyler Hero over 20.5 points. Now, this is an alternate line. It's minus 210 odds. It's exclusive to DraftKings. He has covered this number in 6 of his last 10 games. Not too bad. And on the 2023 season as a whole, 73% hit rate, 16 out of his 22 games. He has cashed this over 20.5 points. So a really solid spot here for Tyler Hero. Now, when you look at the head-to-head data, it's not particularly great, but each of the last 2 times that he played Atlanta, he has covered this, including, importantly, the one time they played this season on December 22nd, he had 30 points. He crushed this number, so a really solid spot this year. Again, the previous 4, but very different Atlanta team. We have to keep that into account here. And you look at the right side of the screen defensively, the Atlanta Hawks are a bottom 3 team defensively in the NBA. They give up 123 points per game, and versus the shooting guard position, they are bottom 10, giving up almost 29 points per game to opposing shooting guards. And the data doesn't really change when we switch to point guards. Still, again, 25.3 points per game to point guards, bottom 10. To Hero switches between the 1 and the 2. So really solid defensive matchup here. He's covered it the one time they played this season. He's hitting to a 73% hit rate this year. Especially with the way the Heat have constructed this year. Tyler Hero is one of their probably, I won't say their best offensive player, but one of their most important offensive players. So I really like the spot here against a pretty bad defense over 20.5 points. And one last point, it is worth mentioning that he is hitting an 80% rate at home. He's played 10 games in Miami this year. He's covered this in 8 of the 10 games. And look at the 2 games he failed to cover against a really good Thunder defense. The Detroit game, I don't really have an answer for that one, but pretty close, 16 and 17. So he wasn't too far off in those misses. But overall, 80% hit rate at home. So just another reason why I love this prop. All right, guys, fourth leg of this 5-leg parlay. We're going with Jeremy Grant of the Portland Trail Blazers in the Pacers-Blazers game. We're going Jeremy Grant over 20.5 points. It is it's a DraftKings exclusive, plus 110. It is the highest odd pick we have in our parlay. It's the riskiest odd pick in our parlay, but I do like the spot here for Jeremy Grant. Now, the data for this one's not going to be necessarily pretty. He's covered this in 5 of his last 10 games. It's a 50% hit rate. Not too bad. And if you look at his last 20 games, the same story. 10 of his last 20 games, 50% hit rate. Not awful. 2023 as a whole, 57% hit rate, 20 out of 35 games. So overall, he's still covering this at least half the time or majority of the time. So it's not a terrible spot. And when you look at the head-to-head, he's covered this in 2 of the last 3 times he played Indiana, including the one time they played this season on November 27th. He had 34 points. He crushed this number. So he already played them once this year and already absolutely crushed this number. And it makes sense. Defensively, the Pacers, they are the second worst defensive team in the NBA in terms of points allowed, giving up 123.5 points per game. And you look at versus the small forward position, they are the second worst defensive team in the NBA against the small forward position, giving up almost 26 points per game. And even versus the power forward, the same. Indiana's defense is awful. And I don't think Pascal Siakam, obviously they made that big trade. I don't think Siakam's going to play tonight. Even if he does, I don't think that affects this too much. It's already right here. Pascal Siakam is officially out. So that obviously, and then Tyrese Halliburton's also still probably out. So the Pacers are going to be shorthanded. So I do like this spot even more because of that. And again, the big reason I'm taking this is because of the defensive matchup here. This is one of the worst defensive teams in the NBA. They are shorthanded tonight. No Siakam, no Halliburton. They obviously, the pieces, they didn't give up much in that trade, but Bruce Brown's obviously out. They're going to be shorthanded. I think Jeremy Grant will absolutely eat in this game. Again, the last time they played on November 27th, when they were at full strength, he still dropped 34 points on them. So I really like this spot here for Jeremy Grant. And for plus money odds, you really can't beat it. And one final point, just again, I like to throw a little extra data to help you guys convince you to take this prop here. He's actually hitting this a little higher at home. He's hitting this at a 67% rate in Portland this season. 10 out of the 15 home games, he's hit this number, including 3 in a row. He had 30 points his last home game versus Brooklyn, which was the other night on January 17th. So he covers this a lot more at home and consistently. Again, you look at right here, that's 7 of his last 9 games, 7 of his last 10 at home. He has covered. So a really good spot here for Jeremy Grant. I like the prop for plus money odds. I don't think you can beat it, to be honest. All right, guys, we made it 5th and final leg of today's parlay. If you made it this far in the video, comment 11 because we are at the 11-minute mark. Comment 11 if you made it this far. 5th and final leg, and I mentioned the other day, I am a certified LeBron James hater, but yet here I am taking for the second time this week a LeBron James prop in my parlay. It did cash the other night, so I'm going to ride with it again. We're doing the Nets-Lakers game, which kicks off at 10:30 p.m. Eastern time. We're going with LeBron James of the Lakers over 29.5 points plus assist. Again, guys, this is a DraftKings exclusive -220. I say it every video. If you guys are betting on FanDuel still for player props for the NBA, I recommend getting off. They don't have a great variety. The odds are not always the best. For football and stuff, I think FanDuel, they do take the cake. But when it comes to basketball player props, I'm telling you guys, DraftKings is the way to go. I'm not sponsored by them or anything. I probably should be with how much I plug them here. But I'm just saying they give you the best variety for alternate lines and stuff like that. But he has covered this in 7 of his last 10 games. It's a 70% hit rate. If you squeeze it down a little bit deeper, he's hit this in 4 of his last 5 games. And if you look at the 2023 season as a whole, he's hitting it at a 59% hit rate, 23 out of 39 games, 23. LeBron James, come on. It's a sign, guys. And when you look at the data at home, it's basically this not too much different. 59% hit rate at home this season, 13 out of 22 games. And I think especially we got to think about the situation for the Lakers here. They need as many wins as they can get at this point, especially with their current playoff situation. So LeBron, this is kind of a matchup with Brooklyn that I think he can take advantage of. The Lakers need wins. LeBron, I think he's going to go off tonight. I really do think he's going to go off tonight for the Lakers. They need him to, really, if they're going to win. That's going to be something to look forward to when it comes to Lakers games. That like LeBron and Anthony Davis props are going to be probably good value to bet moving forward because again, the Lakers, I think they will turn around. I think they will make the play-in tournament at least. But they are struggling right now. They need to turn it around. And LeBron and Anthony Davis are the guys to look to. Specifically LeBron. AD has his history of being wishy-washy. I think LeBron, as much as I don't like him, he does show up when they need him most. And they look at the defensive matchup here versus small forward, which he technically is. I know I mentioned the other night, he's kind of a point forward. It's really different than who defends him. It all depends. But you look at versus small forwards, they are the worst team in the NBA in points allowed to the small forward position, and they are bottom 3 in assists allowed to small forward. So a really good defensive matchup here for LeBron. And I don't know why they're not getting any head-to-head data here for LeBron, but great defensive matchup here. I like the spot here. That is our 5th and final leg for today's parlay. All right, guys, so you look at the right side of the screen here, you'll see our 5-leg parlay ticket. They're all there. Again, apologies, most of these are DraftKings exclusive. The Tobias Harris one you get on Caesars. Let's see what else. That's exclusive. The LaMelo Ball one's on FanDuel. So this, I mean, again, if you're not on DraftKings, I keep recommending it every video. Just get on DraftKings. When it comes to NBA player props, you won't regret it. I'm not saying any other sports. Like I said, football, I think FanDuel actually has better options in terms of player props. But when it comes to basketball, DraftKings, to me, they are king. And again, I'm not sponsored, I'm not plugging them, I'm just being honest. In my research, they're my sportsbook of choice when it comes to player props. They give you the best alternate lines, all that kind of stuff. But 5-leg parlay plus 12.19 odds. And again, like I said, you can scroll down here. Outliers, fantastic for this. BetMGM, none of these legs are available. On Caesars, you can get 1. On FanDuel, 1. DraftKings, all 5. Plus 12.19 odds. We are big game hunting here on the channel. We almost hit it last week. I feel good. We're really in a good spot right now with our player props. Again, I'm hitting an 80% hit rate this season, 62% hit rate this week. So, guys, that is it for me. Until tomorrow, I will be back with another video to recap today and to give you another player prop parlay for tomorrow night. Until then, I hope you're all winners. Enjoy your Friday.